Do you have problems sometimes to follow a healthy diet? I definitely had this problem, and it was very difficult because I didn't have a system in place. Once I started to work with these Pearl jars, it was much easier for me because I followed a strict meal prep diet plan. So on a Sunday afternoon I would go and cook all my meals for the whole week, and like this I don't go and buy other stuff which doesn't really fit into my diet. So here what we have is we have layered all our ingredients, so we cook all of them separately, which makes the whole process very easy. Shouldn't take longer than 1 to 2 hours to cook all the meals. It's also very nutritious, of course, because we have a lot of color inside. We'll add superfoods such as here fermented foods, all things that we can perfectly do with these jars. It's also very cost effective because we are here in a price of about 2 to 4 euros per meal, which makes this also very affordable. So I'm very happy to present you how we are doing meal prep here, and I hope I can inspire you to do the same. So here are all the ingredients that we're going to use for our 3 recipes today. And the first thing that we're looking for is color. The more color we have in our ingredients, the more nutrients we have, because every different color means there is some different nutrition for us. Then we also have protein here, we have some healthy carbs here, and not only this, we also have some ingredients that are cooked, others are raw. Here we have, for example, pickled red cabbage. We also have fermented foods, and all of these ingredients will enable us to create amazing, great tasting recipes. So the first recipe is scrambled tofu. This recipe is so amazing because it is first super easy and we have very healthy protein inside through the tofu. So the first step that we do is we take the tofu, put it into a bowl, and we're going to scramble it up just with the hand. This, no problem to get a little bit dirty. You see, this already looks a little bit like scrambled eggs. Now we're going to add spices. For the spices we have. And now let's add some spices. The first one that we're going to add is turmeric, because we want to have a little bit of color inside, because we're of course looking for this yellow color. So just one teaspoon is enough. Then we're gonna add some pepper, because it's important, of course, for the turmeric to have this also health benefits. We always need to add pepper to it. They go very well together. We add a little bit of smoked paprika. Now this has a little bit of like really smoked flavor, so that's really good. Combines very well. A little bit of cumin. Just a little bit. It's totally enough. Then we add salt. Just a pinch. More. And now the last bit is olive oil. Just drizzle on top of it. And now we can mix already everything. Now, what we're gonna do is, instead of cooking it in the pan, this time we're gonna cook it in the oven, because it's just so much easier. When I'm trying to meal prep, I try to make everything as easy as possible, and putting just this stuff on a baking tray in the oven, it goes so much quicker and it's much easier to clean afterwards. So this is already the first consistency that we're looking for. Now, of course, in a scrambled tofu, we not only want to have tofu, but we're also gonna add now pepper and onion, which we're gonna dice up. So now we have the tofu already scrambled up. Let's add the next ingredient, which we're gonna add to the tofu. Here we have the first part is a pepper, which we're gonna cut up. We're gonna add 1 whole pepper here. We try to slice it very thin, because like this it will combine very well with the tofu, and it will also all cook everything evenly. So now comes the next ingredient, the onion. Especially the onion, we always try to cut very thin or very small. It just combines better with the whole dish. Now we have the ingredients cut up. We're gonna mix them now nicely, and then we're gonna add them into a baking tray. Here we're gonna spread everything evenly and then cook it for around 20 to 30 minutes, and then everything will be nice and crunchy, exactly what we're looking for in this scrambled tofu. Okay, let's get to the second step, which is preparing the sweet potato. Now, sweet potato is super tasty, super nutritious, and also super easy to do. If we want to be quick, because of course we don't want to spend so much time in the kitchen today, that's why it's always the best to cut it into small pieces, also add it in the oven, and this will be done in 20 to 30 minutes. Exactly the same time when the tofu is done. So this makes it super efficient to cook our first meal. So interesting fact is that this dish is also done very similar in India. It is done with paneer, which of course would be a cheese, so it wouldn't be a vegan version. But how's it called again? Burji. It's called burji, and it looks actually very similar. We might put a picture in the video. Now be careful with cutting this. It's normally very tough to cut, and you don't want to cut your fingers. Knife skills are essential in the kitchen. Try to spread them all evenly. We have the space. So now with the sweet potato, I normally cook them very simple because the sweet potato in itself has already a lot of taste. So I'm actually just gonna add olive oil, sprinkle a bit of olive oil on top, add a bit of salt, and then we're already good to go. The tofu has already a lot of taste, so this should be fine. Fun fact, why do you sprinkle so high? You sprinkle always so high because then it gets distributed more evenly. If I would sprinkle the salt here super close to the potatoes, then it wouldn't distribute so well. So this is a mix. Make sure that all of them have olive oil. This looks good. Yeah, let's go. Let's put it in the oven. So now let's go to recipe 2. Recipe 2, we will have kidney beans and rice with vegetables, but here the special part is of course the cashew sauce. The cashew sauce will make this dish really nice tasting, and it will add even more protein to it. Now let's start with the first step, where we're just going to prepare the rice. Okay, now let's get to the next part where we're gonna roast the vegetables. The beans are of course already done, so let's chop up the vegetables. We won't need a whole broccoli. Let's just take a little bit of florets off. Let's do one more, should be enough. Now with broccoli I like to cut it in pieces that like bite-sized chunks, like a little bit like this size. I think this is still really perfect, and they also fit like this perfectly into the jar, but you of course can choose this as you want. Never waste the stem. This is all great nutrition and flavor. Here again, we're gonna keep it very, very simple. Just drizzle a bit of olive oil on top. Add some salt, pepper, mix it up. Spread it nice and evenly. And this is good to go to the oven. So now we come to the most interesting part of this whole recipe, the cashew cream. Cashew cream is a super versatile sauce that we can use for so many things in the kitchen, and especially for this recipe, it's gonna bring everything together. So let's start. The ingredients we have here is of course cashews, lemon, a bit of garlic and some water and salt and pepper. And that's already it. The process is super simple. We take some cashews. Now this is also a cream, you can do more of it, and then throughout the day you'll find a lot of opportunities when you can use it. Let's start with a little bit more, because in this recipe I really want to use quite a bit of cashew cream. Yeah. So now we have the lemon. Let's try to take the seeds out. Normally with this recipe I don't put too much for now. Maybe you can always add a little bit of lemon later on. This looks already good. Then we're gonna add the garlic. I'm gonna add the garlic. Now we're gonna add some salt. Enough. Some pepper. And water. And now we take a powerful blender. The more powerful, the better. And this is exactly the texture that we're looking for, this creamy, thick texture. Now, the next recipe is going to be an amazing Buddha jar. Instead of a Buddha bowl, we're going to make a Buddha jar. And here we again look for a lot of color, which we have here. To bring this dish together, we're going to make a very delicious peanut sauce. So let's start. The first step is making the quinoa. Okay, so now while the quinoa is cooking, let's get to the vegetables. Here again, as we are trying to keep it very simple today, we have again our beloved broccoli, we do a little bit of sweet potato and red bell pepper. Then now let's see, I'm going to use I think a little bit the same amount as for the other recipe. Yeah, let's cut it all. Now, as I said, never waste the stem. So now for the sweet potato, I'll try to cut this one really small because it's going to cook together with the broccoli and the red bell pepper. Because the sweet potato cooks much slower, I want to make sure that I cut it really small, which then also fits good into the jar and continues to taste great. Just a little bit like this, because we already have the quinoa, so here we don't need so much more of the carbs. So now again the same process. So now let's get to the part that brings everything together, the peanut sauce. First ingredient that we have here is just peanut butter. And now we're going to add a little bit of soy sauce. Here we have gluten-free soy sauce. You'll find in the description, of course, the ingredients, exactly how for the recipe. But normally in the kitchen, I never put the measurements in. I just like to get used to measuring by the eye. Now we have this. Then we'll add a little bit of lemon. We have a bit of honey. Then we have a little bit of garlic. Now we're going to season it with a little bit of salt. Not too much, because the soy sauce, of course, is already quite salty. Pepper. And now let's give this a stir. I'm actually going to take a fork. So now this is of course still a little bit too thick, so we'll add a little bit of water. It's always good to just add the water little by little, very similar to working with tahini, because it always first gets a little bit very sticky and then at the end it gets smooth if you add slowly more water to it. But we're looking here for a consistency that is creamy, a little bit similar to the cashew cream. Still a little bit A little bit more. I'm gonna just taste. Okay, so here we have everything already cooked and prepared, and now we're ready to go to do the magic. We're gonna fill it into our jars. So let's get going with the first recipe, the scrambled tofu. Now here we don't necessarily have a sauce, that's why we don't need a sauce cup. We will start with the sweet potato. Always have a funnel because like this you don't make a mess in the kitchen. Now we're gonna add sweet potato. Don't forget, like below in the description, you're gonna find the exact ingredients. We've changed this a little bit now to fit to our needs here today. So here we have our sweet potato. Looks perfect. Now we're gonna go for the scrambled tofu. This is here the main ingredient. This is also the main source of protein. So here we're gonna be very generous. You see, even with the funnel, you can a little bit of a mess. This looks already great. And you see, when everything is prepared like this, then it's just super easy to fill the jars. You can then store them inside your fridge for a couple of days, and you just take them out whenever you want to. I do this every Sunday, so then I just take the jars during the week to the office, or when I come back after work, I'm going home and I just have the food already ready in the jar. So look how beautiful this looks. So we got now the scrambled tofu. Next we go for the edamame. Here again we have a very good protein source and a beautiful color, which is of course important for nutrition and looks good on the Instagram picture. So now we're gonna add the edamame. Not all of them, because we're gonna need them later for another dish as well. So I leave a little bit here. This looks great. So now this is the main part of the recipe, and now we can just add a little bit more of toppings. Here we have a mix of seeds, sesame seeds, and also sunflower seeds. It's always great to add these into the dish because they bring in a lot of healthy fats. Nice. Now, that's the good thing, you know, if you have the things already ready, like this one, like the pickled cabbage, I have it always in the fridge. You can just take it out and add it to the recipe, because we see, like, color-wise, a little bit of red will look really good. So let's just add some of this inside. Now, the scrambled tofu should have already a lot of taste. That's why I wouldn't add a dressing in it. But this is very good because it's pickled, right? So it's in vinegar. And then I normally just add a little bit of this liquid also inside. Just like this. Will give everything a bit more flavor. And then we're gonna top everything off and just close this with, here we have cilantro and parsley. Top this off. Beautiful. That's how you want your Instagram to look, right? So now let's see if I forgot something. Oh, looks like that's it. Now, first two meals are done. Okay, so now let's get to the second recipe that we did today, which is the rice with kidney beans and the cashew cream. To start off, we will take out our little sauce container. This one, of course, the intention is to put the sauce inside. Here we're going to use the cashew cream today, because like this we can store the food longer, and then when we want to eat the recipe fresh, then we put the cashew cream on top. So let's take out our funnel. First the rice. We have here whole grain rice, whole grain basmati rice, very healthy, very nutritious carbs. See, make it a little bit equal. Yeah, this looks good. Now we are gonna add the kidney beans. So we just boiled the kidney beans like this, and we didn't do much to them because we of course have the cashew cream, which is gonna bring everything together. So don't worry about this. Like working with these kind of jars, it's all about layering, and then the sauce is what will bring everything together. That's also actually what makes it so easy to meal prep in these jars, right? Because you don't have to worry too much about cooking everything together, and yeah. So this is going to be the main protein inside, also besides the cashew cream. So let's be generous with the beans. Yeah, this looks good. Perfect. Then now we are gonna take our vegetables. Of course, always important, again, the color that we're looking for. Broccoli and carrots and bell pepper. Big variety, super delicious and nutritious. Can be generous here. Now, let's have a look. We have everything, so now this goes later. So now, before we add the cashew cream, I put now one of my my favorites these days. Like I'm really like craving this. I'm eating so much of it, and this is pickled beetroot. It's just raw beetroot, right? So we want again not only to have cooked veggies or grains inside our jar. We also want some raw stuff. So here we have the raw beetroot. Is super nutritious and it tastes really amazing. It is pickled and it will give this additional funky flavor to it to really spice up this dish. Just a little bit is fine. And again, having here the raw, some part of the vegetable also being raw and not fully cooked, it's also very, very beneficial for us. So now comes the, now again, let's always top up with a little bit of seeds and nuts. We're gonna do this at every dish. Nice. Now we come to the magic, our cashew cream. So here we take now our little pots out. We're just gonna put them on top. We press everything down. And then we are just going to fill this up with the cashew cream. This will bring the whole dish together. So fill it up till the end. Let's do the other one. Quantity that we needed. And yeah, now they're ready to close. And here again, we have top model jars for Instagram. Okay, now, so the third recipe, here we of course are going to start with the quinoa. Again, here we have the peanut sauce, so we're going to use our little sauce containers. Take it out, funnel in, and we're going to start with the quinoa. Also very healthy, nutritious carbs. Let's put in a good amount. This looks good. A little bit more. Yeah, this looks good. So now, so this is of course our Buddha jar, right? So we're gonna also here layer. Now we can put in the vegetables that we have. Here we have the sweet potato, the broccoli and the bell pepper. We'll give a little bit more taste, more sweetness of the potato. Now the chickpeas, again, don't worry that they're not seasoned. We have the peanut sauce, which is a very strong and beautiful flavor, which is going to bring everything together. So here also be generous with the chickpeas. They're going to be our protein source. This looks good. Now we want to add a little bit more color, so we put in the rest of the edamame. Good. Here we are also ready. We have some cherry tomatoes. Probably tasty. Okay, so now before we put the peanut sauce, I will add again a little bit of the cabbage. It's a perfect acidity which we can bring into this dish, especially with the peanut butter, which can be very heavy in taste, and this will loosen up the taste and will really combine everything perfectly. Now, of course, never forget your seeds. Also, we had just add the rest of the cilantro and parsley since we have it here. Nothing goes to waste. Yeah, and now we are ready for the last part. Where we're gonna add the peanut sauce. So take your little cup, put it back, and now let's add the sauce. Fill it up. So you want to have as much sauce as possible. And we can close it. And we have one more beautiful looking rainbow jar. So we have now all our 3 delicious meals ready in the jar. Normally I would do this on a Sunday afternoon. It takes me more or less 1 to 2 hours, and then I have all my meals prepped for the whole week. Like this, I don't go to the supermarket or to like a restaurant to get some food that really is not as healthy as I wish it to be. And it's also super easy actually to do. So if you think that this lifestyle is a little bit complicated, do give us a follow, because in reality it can actually be very simple if you know the tips and tricks. Together with our jars, we are able to ferment food, we are able to preserve food for a very long time, and this just enables us to have a fridge always with certain ingredients, which makes this whole meal prep a lot easier. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and come on, let's have lunch together. Let's see what I want.